Hello, coloring friends. So today I want to show you my all completed illustrations for the year 2023. It was interesting for me to see all the illustrations that I have colored. This way I can see in what books I color more, in what less. I completed 76 illustrations during this year, one double spread, and these illustrations from 45 coloring books and 6 PDF illustrations. I've got 24 new coloring books, and out of them I have started 13. That is not bad, more than half, and considering then 8 of these new books I've got only in October. So quite good results, though of course during the years I had some periods when I didn't feel like coloring. This year was rather busy for me, so I had to take breaks even from our challenges because I couldn't color. But on the whole, I'm quite satisfied with the results. And last week, what I was doing, I was finishing my whips. As you know, I like to finish any whips that I have before New Year. Otherwise they stay for unknown time uncolored. And I plan to film this video on Sunday instead of our weekly challenge, but I finished 3 whips and I was happy, was ready to film the video, and then suddenly I remembered that I have one more whip, and so I had to finish that one as well, and so this video coming out a little bit later than I had planned. But I'm happy that I'm done with all whips. 3 whips were from this year and 1 from last year. As I told you, I haven't finished it last year, and so it was like this the whole year. So let me show these whips. The first one was from Mythographic Cosmic Spirit by Fabiana Attanasio. I started it for the prompt crab. It was like second illustration for the prompt, but I was not in time. Actually, I colored only this part, and then yeah, I left it. And now after that time, I was not sure what my plan was for this illustration, why I chose this color, and I had to continue, and that's what I've got. I can't say that I'm happy that much about this illustration, but it's okay. I started coloring with colored pencils here, though of course for such type of pictures I could use markers. I don't know why I decided to start with pencils. Maybe I wanted to try this paper. Not so bad. I used Prismas here and Brustra. Quite good result. Some gel pen here as well. Another whip was from Goddess Nature, one of my new coloring books, Christina McAllister. And this one was for the prompt Stars. This girl I started at the time, and I finished only her hair. So this time I had to color all the rest. Very bad paper, I would say. So I used markers as a base level here, and then work with pencils, and even then pencils don't work that good. There are quite a lot of white spots, and when you try to use Blender, because it's a grayscale book, and when you use Blender, this gray paint also start blending with pencil, and it creates kind of dirt. I tried on this part and it looked terrible. I had to fix it, work again over it. but on the whole it looks quite lovely, and I'm glad I finished. I tried the paper. There are more interesting illustrations in this book than this one, but for the prompt stars I decided to start this book. And next whip was from Lost Ocean, Joanna Basford, and it's the only, no, not the only, there's one more illustration by Joanna Basford that I colored this year. And this illustration I started, I believe, for the prompt octopus, I think, and I colored the octopus and this fish only, and that's it. So I had to color all the rest this time. On this fish I used sparkly gel pen, but all the rest it's just pencils and fine liners at some places. And the last whip was from the previous year, Magic Gate Tarot, Vera Petruk. Interesting, unusual illustrations for the tarot cards, but what puts me away are these ugly frames on each illustration, and they take time to color, to finish, and then you feel like, oh, I'm not in the mood for frames. That was the first picture I colored, and then I started this one, I believe, for the prompt money, coins it was. And I only colored this guy only with markers, so quite a lot of work to be done here. But surprisingly I'm happy with the result. This guy turned out quite bright, interesting, and the frames I decided not to put much effort in the frame, just use markers, color it in sketchy style, and I think it looks okay. The main point of these illustrations are what's inside, and so I'm quite happy with the result with this book. Now I will show you PDF illustrations. This one by Camilou, it was for the prompt suitcase. I like how this picture turned out, a lot of green, a beautiful girl. Yeah, I used markers and pencils here, and I'm happy with the result. This one more recent, Peru. This is by A.R. Fortier. It was for the prompt llama. Traditional costumes. Again, markers and pencils here. Vishan Ong, Conversation in the Deep. This illustration is called. I believe it was for the prompt starfish. A lot of different colors, rather contrasty, but I like the result. I like her pictures, quite unusual. Lika Landell, and this pretty kitty I colored for the prompt watermelon. At first I had some difficulty with coloring kitty that looks like a person with not paws but with hands, but I think the result is nice. I like her face. Looks like tattoo. Kangaroo. This is from Wild by Nature by Leslie Smitherengale, Australia. I tried to depict Australian heat. Birds also, I used a reference picture, Australian birds, and of course kangaroo and this lovely girl. This one with pencils, I believe, yeah, everything with pencils. Aladdin with genie and these guys flying on the magic carpet. This is by Chet Minton. Markers pencils, and at this part, some parts I couldn't figure out what was that, so I decided to use gouache to mask those lines, and it's like a magical smoke or something. And the last PDF, I colored it in January last year, Snow Maiden by Fabrica Fantasy. A lot of stickles here, as you can see. Yeah, maybe you can't. Yeah, like this, a lot of. And I like to use stickles for winter illustrations. It's like snow sparkling in the sun. Quite lovely illustration. The next picture, it was like A4 printed illustration of Ciri and Geralt from The Witcher, and I wanted to color those smallish illustrations and to use them in my journal, because I finished reading the whole series of The Witcher book. I colored both of them, but at the end I used only the Witcher picture in my journal, and here he is. And Ciri maybe I will use later when I watch maybe TV series The Witcher. But here are the pictures. Illustrations by no, I can't remember the author, I'm sorry. Next part, Gods and Beasts by Adam Fisher. Surprisingly, I colored only one illustration this year in this book. Usually it was more. And this is a lion. As always, I used markers and pencils in this book for coloring. He looks nice. Beauty of Horror, Alan Rupert. This is Ghosts of Christmas. And I completed this not that scary looking snowman. Here, what I used? Yeah, markers, pencils, some glitter gel pens. Sacred Nature by Lydia Hess. This is like relaxing coloring book. Very easy coloring. I use markers here and have several illustrations done in this book. They're simple but very nice, cute, and easy to color. When you want to relax, you can color in this type of books. I like this peacock. This one colored for snails prompt, and this one, that's all I believe. Yeah. Circus by Sarah Walsh. One illustration here, this one. Very funny looking illustrations, very stylish and fun to color. Some stickles here, but yeah. The Nature Mandala by Cynthia Emerly. 3 illustrations in this book this year. Peacocks. Some shine here. Metal gel pens, I believe. And then kangaroo. Looks lovely, this mandala with kangaroo. And lions. Again, I like this book, very relaxing, and the result is very nice because illustrations are pretty. The Princess by Anne Kronheimer, 2 illustrations this year. One is this Scheherazade for the Arabian Night color along, very bright, colorful. Another one more recent. This is Princesses and Castles prompt. I love this illustration, but how I colored it, I'm not quite satisfied. I don't know, as if something missing, I don't know. Color My Sketchbook, Mythic by Bennett Klein. 2 completed illustrations this year. This vampire woman. Some shine here, sparkle here, there. Quite dramatic color palette. Another one I like better, to be honest, this Ghost Soldier. At first I didn't like this illustration, but when I colored it, I kind of like it. Interesting. Joanna Basford, World of Flowers. Quite recent illustration here. And this beetle. Colored pencils and neon gel pen to cover those lines on the beetle's pattern and to add kind of shine, as if they're shiny, those patterns. I'm quite pleased with the result. Let me take the next part. Lush Life by Doreen Castle. These are the simple illustration, but pretty. I added butterfly sticker because I thought like there's a blank space here, so I thought like butterfly would look nice here. There's another completed picture here, but it was colored by my daughter. These lovely snails. Alan Robert, The Beauty of Horror. Here I completed this double spread with spiders. They don't look that spooky or creepy here. Someone wrote me in comments on Instagram that it looks like fabric. Yeah, I agree, indeed. Looks bright, colorful, and not spooky or creepy at all. There are some smaller details on each spider, which I colored with fine liners, and the rest I don't remember actually what I use. It looks like a pencil with maybe water-based markers base, I think. But I like the result, surprisingly. That's the only double spread that I colored this year. Queens of Poland, Christina Novak. Oops. This beautiful lady, Elizabeth of Bosnia. I used some references to know what colors were clothes at the time, what jewelry. They like to wear some fur as decorative elements on their clothes. I like how this fur turned out. And the girl herself, yeah, I think it looks rather realistic and nice. I like this book, a very nice paper. Земля снова, Tomislav Tomic. Again, sadly, only one completed illustration in books by Tomislav Tomic. Last year, I believe I did more. But on the brighter side, I finished this double spread. I mean, this illustration was colored like, I believe, 5 or 4 years ago. And this one I colored now. At least I have a complete double spread. I had to work more on this illustration because comparing to this fresh one, this one looked rather pale, so I had to add some layers. And yeah, looks nice, though maybe if I started coloring now, I would have chosen different colors, but okay, I had to continue in same palette. Looks rather fairy tale-ish. Creative Cats, Marjorie Sarnat. I don't color that often in these books nowadays, so I decided to color something. And this cat with the guitar, and I think I used pencils here because no marker on that side. A Circle of Life by Milpa Meni. Again, surprisingly, only 2 completed illustrations this year. Last year it was 6 or 7, I believe, and only 2 this year. But I do love these 2 pictures. This crab, a lot of small details. Worked on all of them with fine liners, small fish, and another illustration, these seahorses. I like how this picture turned out, one of my favorite. By the way, 10 the most favorite illustrations of this year would be at the end of the video. I could have included this one as the 11th illustration in that list because I really love all the colors, how everything looks together. And Fairy 3 by Christine Karen. Have this completed fairy illustration. It turned out very tender, not exactly in my style, but I like it. I think markers, yeah, markers and pencils here. A very simple illustration, colorful cats, relax with art. And these little bit weird looking kittens in the basket, but okay, sometimes I feel like coloring something like this. Especially if I have these books, why not to color sometimes? Another simple picture, marine life, I believe, and this starfish mandala. And another simple illustration, Terry Pratchett, Discworld, illustrations by Paul Kidby. I remember I didn't have much time at the moment and I had to color something for our challenge, so I chose this. A funny looking chest, but not much to color here. Anyway. Then 3 books by Kirby Rosanes. That's the only 3 illustrations by Kirby that I colored this year. Again, it's very little. I would like to color more in Kirby Rosanes books, but yeah, they require more time than usual and that's why I don't color them much. Fragile World. Very realistic looking illustration, not exactly my type of pictures, but it was interesting to color something that realistic. very natural looking colors. Yeah, I like how this gorilla turned out in the sky. I believe I drew these clouds. Another illustration, this one I enjoyed coloring, Geomorphia Volcano. I like these fiery foxes and all the atmosphere around the volcano. And the third one is from Walls Within Walls. It's a clock picture. It's a nice looking illustration. Again, rather realistic looking. Calm colors. Autumn. Yeah, I like it. Another bunch. Let me take. Cursed Pirate Girl, Jeremy Bastian. Very interesting illustrations in this book, and it's nice on its own, even without coloring. Like, look at this guy. But I like this that some illustration to be colored, as this Commodore girl. I like her head. That's the main reason I wanted to color this picture. I like octopus on her head. And she's quite a character, very interesting face expression. Everything with pencils. Myth and Magic, Kinuka Wycraft, one of my favorite books, and I used to color in this book a lot, but only one illustration during this year, and I'm not quite happy about this illustration. All my previous pictures colored here I liked more, and this one, I don't know, maybe the illustration itself was not that inspiring for me. I'm not pleased with the result. Maybe that's why I didn't feel like coloring something else in this book that soon. But I need to color something else because I like this book. Ethnic Patterns. This very small book, and I had in plans to finish it. I had quite a lot completed illustrations, but then I colored this one at the start of the year, and then I forgot about this book. This green, I don't know, dragons, some metallic gel pens here. Gulgeli Find Color, one illustration this year. This sad guy, some story behind this illustration, why he's sad, what this empress told him. I believe I told this story at the time when I colored this illustration and showed it for the first time. I like how everything turned out, and I love the picture, the story. R.J. Hampson, Pirates, one of my new coloring books, and I have started this book with this cute pirate. I found him cute, such picturesque beard and hair. I made him redhead. Very simple but very enjoyable illustrations by this artist. He has a lot of books. It was hard to choose which one to buy, and I decided Pirates. But there's a lot of others interesting books. Again, two of my new coloring books by same artist, Forest Diver. the hidden spirits of the enchanted forest and gardens of the enchanted forest. Here I colored this forest nymph, maybe a lot of greens, several shades of greens. Again, Amazon paper, so it's better to use markers at first and then work with pencils. Then you get nicer result and it's more easy to color. And in this book, a dragon illustration. Again, a lot of greens. And this lovely looking dragon. Simple illustrations, but I really like this style. They are easy to color and the result is so pretty. Another of my new coloring books, Gentle Nature by Carlton Douglas. Two completed pictures in this book and I like them both. This girl with a galaxy umbrella, beautiful tulips. I use markers and pencils, I believe, yes. And another one, springtime. We have ladybugs here and the girl shamefully closes her eyes. Very lovely illustrations in this book, and because of the smaller size, it's easy to color. Very good book. Astrology, another of my new books by Anna Jaren. Only one completed illustration, Virgo. This illustration also is a collage, so no shading here. It's just like separate elements put together as in collage. And I like the result, the contrast of the colors, and everything together looks really lovely to my eyes. Mythographic Magical Earth, Joseph Katzenbank, another of my new books. And I colored two illustrations, but to be honest, I'm not that happy with both of them. I don't know, they look nice, but as if something missing. In my opinion, they don't look fairish enough, fairy tale-ish. This one looks rather realistic, and that's not what I wanted. I don't know. Another one is a little bit better, more magical, thanks to this horse, and maybe thanks to the colors I used here. This one I like better, but still as if something missing. I need to color something else in this book to see how it goes. Very beautiful illustrations, but when I color, then I'm not quite pleased. I don't know what is it. Some books by Coloring Heaven. Starry Night by Vishan Ong. Two pictures here. One is this girl. For the prompt stars, a lot of stars here. Use some glitter gel pens. And this girl. And in many illustrations by Vishan Ong, I often use these colors like blue, violet, lilac. So the next illustration I decided to color in different palette, because otherwise all the pictures look kind of same. So here we have green and red instead, and I like the result, looks lovely. Again, simple illustrations, but very pretty. Vikings by Hollow Moon Art. Only one illustration completed here, this guy. I saw very similar guy on Instagram, and he looks kind of same same wavy hair and beard, and the guy is redhead. So I decided to make this Viking in same way. I was inspired by that guy, and yeah, I like the result. It looks interesting. Though rather simple illustration, not the most difficult in this book, but it was a nice start, I think. Ink House by Rory Dobner, 2 illustrations, very nice pictures by this artist, and again not that hard to complete, like this hedgehog on the royal chair. Looks nice, some shine on the chair. And another, this Zora parrot, saving this beauty in the cage. Dragons in Nature, Anastasia Eli-Koldereva. I colored only 2 illustrations by Koldereva, sadly, because I used to color more. And here we have these dragons in a nest. Again, rather earthy colors here, rather realistic, nothing fairy tale-ish, but I like it. I think it's nice for this picture. And Cat Special. I call this simple illustration, girl reading a book for her cat. Used markers here, some pencils maybe, and I added some shiny writing on the book, fairy tales. And the last bunch of books. Let me show it first here. Fantasia by Nick Filbert, Nick Filbert, Chandra Vienata. 2 illustrations here. I will show you this one first. Halloweenish. Looks nice, interesting, though the illustration itself was rather simple, but the result is quite nice. The second illustration is one of my 10 most favorite. I will show it later. And Moon Blossoms by Katrina Pallon, one of my favorite books. 3 completed illustrations here, and 2 of them in my list of 10 most favorite illustrations. Let me show at first the one that didn't make to the list. This one, I do like it, but simply not that enough to include in the top 10. And now let's start with my favorite illustrations of the year. This one, A Girl with Butterflies. I colored this one at the start of the year, I believe, maybe February. I really like it. A lot of colors, but everything looks nice and in harmony to my opinion, to my taste. Look at all these butterflies, very beautiful. Another is more recent work, this Japanese girl. Here I added some metallic gel pens. Usually I use only pencils and sometimes add gel pens in this book. Pencils work perfect on this paper. So this is my second most favorite illustration of the year. Number 3 from Fantasia, and it's this guy, surprisingly, Minotaur. It was not one of my favorite illustrations in the book. I started coloring for the prompt braids, And then when I finished it, I realized that I like it very much, enough to include it in the list of my top 10 illustrations of the year. Look at this guy. I like the colors that I chosen, and I like how it turned together, the background. Yeah, very happy with this work. Number 4, Blackbird Song, Anastasia Koldereva, and that's the second illustration by this artist that I colored this year, though I would like to color more in her books. Anyway, number 4 is this girl. It was the first time that I achieved the result of the skin that I wanted. Usually when I wanted to color dark-skinned girl, they turn out more like tanned girl. And this time it was the first time that indeed she looks like a dark-skinned girl, and I'm happy, though I used the wrong pencils, light fast, and I forgot they don't work that good on this paper, hard to blend, so skin is not that smooth as I would like to, but nevertheless it looks nice, and it's in my top 10. And I really like the parrot here as well. I used reference, of course, to color this guy. Number 5, Wonderful Wizard of Oz. It's the most recent illustration, Fabiana Trere. And Sleeping Lion and Dorothy among poppies. I am not quite satisfied with the face because, again, because of the paper, I couldn't blend properly, so the skin is not as smooth as I would like to, but nevertheless I do love this illustration. I love how the poppies turn out, and her dress, all this greenery, the lion, and the illustration itself. I really like it. Here I used Derwent Inktense as a base level, and then worked with ordinary pencils, and so I got this bright, beautiful result. Number 6, again Coloring Heaven, again Fabiana Trere, Ancient Egypt, and I colored this goddess bastet here. And again, I like this illustration enough to include in top 10. She looks rather mysterious, and that's why I made her in black color, and with this gold jewelry looks very contrasting and beautiful. Everything. No, for the background I used Derwent Inktense, then worked with ordinary pencils. Some gel pens to cover black lines on the cat, and all the rest pencils. Number 7, surprisingly, some birds. I don't like coloring birds, but this illustration I really liked. Nature Spaces by Patricia Wynne, and these toucans. Again, I used the Derwent Inktense here, and then worked with ordinary pencils. Everything turned out that bright, so I was that happy with this picture to include it in my top 10 list. Next two illustrations from the same book, Tales from the Stars, Anna Miarzynska. The first one is this one, a Virgo. Here I used color pencils and some gouache for this part, because I was not sure what it is. There was some black lines, so I decided it would be some planets, so I covered all those black lines, and so that's why I used gouache. All the rest colored pencils, like this greenery here and the lion, very realistic looking. The second illustration I like even better. No, it's not virgin. Why I said virgin? It's lion. This is a weird one. Again, I like the colors here, all the contrast, and the stones. I like how they turn out, quite realistic, how dressed, the colors. Yeah, I think it deserves to be in the top 10. And the last, it was also a surprise for me, a Game of Thrones. And this illustration with dragon eggs. I colored it for our weekly challenge, and I was in a hurry. At the time I didn't finish it properly. I was not that happy then, not satisfied, and then I decided to work again on this picture. I added more contrast, more shading, some highlights here, and then I looked at this and I realized that I love it. I love enough to include in top 10. Yes, it's number 10 in my top 10. Dragon eggs. And that was the last illustration of all the illustrations completed in 2023. I hope you enjoyed looking through my works along with me. Some pictures, of course, you have seen, some you remember, I believe, but I think you enjoyed it nevertheless. Write which illustrations of mine you like better, and I think maybe it's the last video of this year. We have a new year ahead of us, and I wish you all the best for the upcoming week. Love, health, wealth, and inspiration, of course, because all these things let you enjoy our hobby, and I hope we'll continue to see each other on my channel, to color together and to share the joy of this hobby. So happy new year, and see you next time in new year. Bye.